Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 10 of In Full Stride. Yes, huge milestone for the show today, and I'm happy to celebrate it with my good friend Liam Davidson here at Queensbury. How you doing, Liam?
Good. How are you?
Dude, I'm great. You have nationals coming up, so you feeling excited for that?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Leaving Friday and racing on Saturday. So
that'll be all in hindsight for you guys. It's Thursday, the day we're recording this, which is just 5 days after you won your first track state title in the steeplechase in Class B, man. I mean, hearing your name in the same sentence as steeple state champion, just what does that sound like to you?
It sounds awesome. I didn't really expect. I came into the race knowing that I was ranked number 1 for Class B, but the whole entire week I was so stressed out, trying not to think about it, trying to think about more of the 2 mile, which didn't go great, but yeah, I'm trying to think of the 2 mile, and then that night I was so stressed out and just happy. I was more relieved when it was over.
After the 3,200 meters, though, which was on last Friday, 6 days ago, you might not have had that personal record effort that you were looking for. How did you regather and turn your focus forward to the steeple, which was like literally 12 hours later?
My coach just told me forget about it. You got to look forward to the next race and don't look back to the previous races. Focus on one race at a time. He's been telling me that pretty much all year, whether it's at Queensbury. I remember I did the steeplechase, and then I did the 800, and he's like, just focus on steeplechase, and then after you're done with that, all you're focusing on is the 800, and that's pretty much what I did for states.
Yeah, you've been setting personal records in the 800 and other events to lead up to that steeplechase at states. We're going to get into a lot more of that. The reason why I also phrased it as steeple state champion rather than state champion in general is because you've already been able to consider yourself a state champion on the ski slopes with your team in the Nordic season. So you've really brought your senior season to full circle. I mean, how does that all feel for you?
It feels great. I like to take it one season at a time, going from cross country to Nordic and then to track, obviously. But yeah, I've loved winning states in Nordic was just a great experience, and it was great doing it with my friends Patrick Cirillo. You know who he is?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was just great senior moment there.
Got to give a shout out to Patty Cirillo, a great friend of the show. We're going to get more to the Nordic ski season later, but let's start in present day, right? Let's break down that steeplechase where you won that state title for Class B. You came third overall as well, but on the line, obviously you had that 3,200 meters in the back of your mind, but what was your mindset before that double gun went off? Because they had to fire it twice in that race.
I think the double gun was actually my fault. Like, I slipped at the start of the race, and they were like, "Oh, we just got to make it fair for everybody." And I was thankful that they reset it so I could be having an equal opportunity. But
yeah, so kind of microcosmically, I suppose that gave you a fresh start, so you didn't have to worry about how nervous you were, perhaps?
Exactly, yeah. Definitely a lot of nerves on the line, but going into it, I just knew I just wanted to stick with the lead pack and kind of go from there, and that's what I did. I started to fall back with like 3 laps in, but then I saw there's another Class B guy coming up next to me, and at that moment with 3 laps left, I'm like, if I want to win the state championship, I got to go now, and that's what I did.
Yeah, you closed really steadily, but I think targeting your opposition is such a key thing, having that cross-country experience with, because when you get in a race where there's athletes of all different school sizes, it's almost hard to know what you should shoot for, right? The guy that won it, Van Furman, he's a Class C athlete, so he could have very well just had those targets on his back. But yeah, just how are you assessing the competition each and every lap and each and every barrier?
Going into the race, I didn't really know much about like which schools were Class B. Well, I saw obviously the seed list, but I didn't really know like what color their jersey is because I don't see them every day at like our sectional meet or our regular meets around here because they're not close to here. But before the race, kind of just looking at people, looking for like their jerseys, looking what schools they're from, and yeah, that's how I kind of assessed it.
Yeah, I always love doing the pre-meet mingling to kind of get a sense of the scene. I feel like you're kind of easier to have that target on your back, though, because you're jersey is bright yellow. It sticks right out. You literally can't miss it. If you put yourself like a needle in the haystack, you're going to be the one that everybody sees because your jersey's so bright.
Exactly, yeah. I always say, go after the yellow jersey, go after the yellow jersey, going by other coaches, either whether it's cross country or track. So.
Is that tough to tune out for you sometimes?
No, I just take it aside. I don't know.
I mean, well, your teammates are obviously cheering back, fighting fire with fire there.
Yeah.
Good stuff there. But talk about the moves you made up through that race. You said you kind of timed it out. You told yourself when you had to go, but it seemed like I said before, it was a real steady draw up to the finish line, and then you just still had that sprint in you at the end. Just what were you telling yourself as you kept getting closer to the finish line and getting closer and closer to the front?
I mean, just kind of survive. I don't know, just trying to survive, trying to stay with the pack, and try not to get thrown behind. And yeah, that's what I kind of did. Try to stick with everybody. I was in 5th for most of the race, and then with like 1,000 left, I started kicking, and yeah, I just tried to catch as many people as I could.
How difficult is that to do with the barriers factored in? Obviously the conditions are the same for everybody, but how difficult is it to accelerate when you have these 3-foot barriers in your way?
I mean, I kind of like the barriers to somewhat, because it makes you like, you can focus on each individual part of the race, and you can kind of break it down similar to cross country, where you can break it down like wherever you are in the race, because you know the course. But like with track, like either with like a 2-miler or something, you're just going laps and laps and laps and laps. And with steeple, you got barriers, so your mind is focused more on getting over the barriers. Like, okay, I'm just gonna get over one more barrier, instead of just like, oh, it's the same thing over and over and over again.
I feel like it almost keeps you mentally active, because if you fall asleep, even for a split second, it's like this for the sprint hurdles as well. But if any switch turns off in your brain, the next thing you know, your race could be over.
Exactly. Yeah, like one slip up, one fall, and your placing could go down the window, or out of the window.
Yeah. Has that ever happened to you as a steepler?
I remember my first time doing the steeple. I did it at Foothills my sophomore year, and yeah, I fell. I had a pretty bad fall, hit my knee, like did almost a somersault over the barrier, and yeah, I mean, I got back up and I did fine. So it's definitely a mental check though when that happens.
Yeah. When that happened though, what kept you doing the steeplechase rather than wanting to quit it after having such a unfortunate experience your first time?
I mean, I don't know. I qualified for state quals in that race, and I'm like, I want to go to state quals, so I just did it at state quals sophomore year, and then from that I just stuck with it, and I really like it. So.
Then the next year you made it to states at the steeple. You got on the podium too that year, right?
Yes, I did.
I remember I was watching back that little interview. If you check on Liam's milesplit profile, you go and see that. That's when you broke your coach's school record in the steeplechase to get to states, which was a really dramatic and emotional race.
Yeah, that was a surreal moment, and yeah, I didn't think I was gonna win it until when the other kid, the Saratoga kid, fell over the barriers, which was unfortunate. But yeah, that was a crazy race, and it just like shows you at the start of the race, I was kind of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, because I think it was pretty hot that day too.
Oh my gosh, it was hotter than it is today.
Yeah, and yeah, I just kept with it, and the Saratoga kid had like a little bit of a gap on me, and I was probably like 20 meters behind him pretty much the whole race, and pretty much the same thing that happened at States with 800 meters to go. I was like, okay, I gotta go now if I want to make it to States, and that's what I did.
I remember too, like obviously the barriers keep getting wetter every lap. That's another thing to consider. The Toga kid though, he took it really well. It wasn't that sad of a moment, even though he had just had like literally the worst outcome, and it was all good there. For you though, moving forward to States, obviously you've had a lot of great efforts in the steeplechase, but when you were coming down that home straightaway, I could just sense that you were just so proud of what you were doing. Could you just take me back to that last stretch right there?
Oh, I don't even know. It was just like, okay, I don't want to get past. And I'm thinking, I got one more barrier left. I got to get over this one barrier. Still trying to be mentally checked, like you said. And yeah, and then after I got over that barrier, it was almost just like a sense of relief. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did this.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch, even though it was third overall, right? The class state champions were all spread out pretty far because Van Furman, he's the best steeplechaser in the nation right now, and you were within 11 seconds of him, which I don't even think, I mean, not going to speak for you, but expectations-wise, did you expect to be as close to him as you were?
No, I didn't, but yeah, he's awesome. Doing three races and for states is pretty impressive, so yeah, hats off to him.
He did the 32. He got second for his class. He did the steeplechase. He obviously won, and then still came back to run the mile afterwards.
Yeah, insane.
Guy is nuts. You even got to race him earlier this season in the Niski Elite 5K, another distance where you came pretty darn close to your school rec. I think you came within a second of it in 15:09, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. I think I was 0.1 off from second at my school. So
gotcha. So
yeah.
top three all time then?
Yes.
Gotcha, yeah. QB runners, there is an extensive database. If you check out their website from their cross-country course history, that's another thing we've yet to mention. Queensbury hosted the state meet for cross country, so you guys have a lot of history that you're only adding to now as we continue. It's how amazing was it for you guys to be hosts of a cross country state meet?
It was awesome. I mean, get to run this course every single day in training, so I know it inside and out, do workouts on it every single day, and yeah, it was awesome having it here. Awesome at the Queensbury Invitational too, with so many teams here. It was pretty awesome. So yeah.
It wasn't even supposed to be a thing in 2025. It was supposed to go out to Letchworth State Park in Rochester, but it's undergoing renovation. So these next 2 years are literally going to be the Queensbury era.
Yeah, I hope I can come back and watch it. Going from college to here. Hopefully a weekend I can come back and watch state meet.
Yeah, you will have your hands full, though, I'd imagine, at UMass, wanting to get your feet wet there. Congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited to go and see where the next chapter takes me.
Yeah, to be a Minuteman. I love, that's one of my favorite mascots of a lot of the future college commits that I cover here. So what are some of the big things that played into your decision?
I mean, I really like Coach Ritchie, loved the program there, loved the other kids that run there, and yeah, ultimately they had civil engineering, which I'm planning on majoring in, and yeah, that's pretty much what came down to it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I know one guy that I mentioned in a previous episode. Watch episode 6 with Colin Gilstrap. I mentioned his former high school teammate Colin Catherwood. He's taken chunks and chunks off his personal best in his first couple of years, so you'll have an opportunity to do that the same in the mid-distance program there.
Hopefully.
You think they're going to primarily put you in some more 3K steeples? You think you're going to try and run some more 5Ks?
I don't really know now. Probably doing steeple and 5K, though, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, considering how close you got to sub 15, you're just doing the steeple at nationals, right?
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah. Even with just one track 5K all season under your belt, and you still came pretty darn close to sub 15, like, there's a lot of potential, I think, in the strength department. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would say that's all from Nordic. Going from Nordic to going to track, I mean, Nordic's all lifting and all in the glutes, hamstrings, and yeah, definitely built some strength coming from Nordic.
Yeah, and the closing speed as well. We already talked about that sprint finish in the state-winning steeplechase, but even in that 5K, you finished pretty darn well. There were a lot of really great closers all throughout that field, and that race is actually on my YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen it already, be sure to watch that. You'll see Liam get that 15:09, and it's crazy because that race, I think, almost prepared you for the widespread nature of the state steeplechase, because there were 4 guys, Van Furman being one of them that I mentioned earlier, that were going out in 14:30 pace.
Yeah, that was a crazy race. My coaches told me, try to stay with them and see where it takes you. And he always says that I maybe don't push hard enough, but I went out with them and tried to stay with them, and I mean, you saw how it went. I was kind of alone for most of the race, but yeah, I'm still happy with the time, still happy with what went down. So
yeah, that definitely prepared you for that, and I'd imagine also being on the slopes all winter, that not only prepared you to run alone, but camaraderie with your teammates, coming off across country. Just what was it like for you? Because I saw in that interview as well that we did back after junior year state quals that you had only picked up cross country skiing earlier that year.
Yeah, I did basketball my freshman and sophomore year, and my coach told me that if you want to you want to try to elevate yourself, maybe try doing Nordic and having that 3 seasons of training. So, and that's what I did, and I wish I did it sooner. I really did. That's one of my biggest regrets in sports. So, yeah, I wish I did it freshman and sophomore year too.
Yeah, that's my same regret about not doing indoor before junior year, but you didn't have that choice because your school doesn't have an indoor program, but you had that to choose. Had you ever really been much of a skier before then?
No, I mean, in middle school and elementary school, I skied a little bit, but not much. So yeah, it was definitely a different experience, and it like my junior year is kind of just a learning experience, and then taking it over to this year and doing well at states and winning the state championship for my team. I didn't expect I would be on that.
I'm a little unfamiliar. How do they score the state champ? It's like a downhill slope race?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to running or cross country, where it's your top 3 score, and wherever they are is how many points they get. So like first is 1 point, obviously, and second point, or 2 points. But yeah, it's pretty similar to cross country in that way. But yeah, I don't know. It was just an awesome experience winning states with my team, and yeah, I couldn't say more.
Right. You guys were close as well to making it to cross-country states. So I guess from a team perspective, because you obviously made it as an individual, you got third. But from a team perspective, you guys had that as a goal, and you had just missed out on it at sectionals, going up against 2 really good teams, Burn Hills and CBA, a team that won sectionals for the first time in school history. Did that narrow disappointment fuel you heading into the Nordic season at all?
Yeah, it did. I mean, Patrick Cirillo was on that sectionals team too for cross country, and I think that kind of fueled our hunger, per se, to go after it at Nordic. And again, Nordic wasn't easy either. We had Gilderland, who was pretty good, and it's kind of all throughout the summer too. We trained, we came here, did roller skiing, and yeah, so that kind of where our hunger is like, okay, let's go and get this. We gotta go and get this, and we worked and we did it. So
I know a lot of people have differing opinions on methods of cross training when it comes to running, but would you say that Nordic kind of gave you that type of avenue?
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, throughout the summer, I would run in the morning and then ski at night. So
wow.
Yeah, for doubling. So yeah, it was awesome having that. And a lot of the kids who do Nordic do track, obviously, and just great camaraderie. So yeah.
For sure, yeah. Do you plan on doing that this summer as well?
I'm not so sure with training and everything for college,
right.
But yeah, definitely when I come home from break in the winter, I want to go up to Gore and try ski again with the team. So.
You have a favorite ski resort? Would you say Gore is your favorite?
Yeah, that's just the one we always go to. Every day after school in the winter, we go up there. So.
Wow. You guys got West Mountain, which is pretty close by, but nice to know that you guys are willing to be adventurous with it, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly, yeah.
Have you done like an actual recreational ski trip yet in your life?
Yeah, downhill I do a lot too, and me and my friend, Nick Gillespie.
Yes, yeah. He was the other guy that made it
yeah.
to States in cross country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we skied at I think it was Stowe 2 years ago, which was awesome.
Where's that at?
Vermont.
Gotcha.
Vermont, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Green Mountains.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff up there, I can imagine. I mean, I've never skied in my life, so I'm only just going off of what I've heard from others. And I mean, you're a pretty trusty source, so I'm going to give you the credit where it's due. Would you have any recommendations to someone that's looking to get into skiing for the first time but has never tried and is maybe a little bit sluggish?
Maybe try Gore. Gore has a lot of great skiing slopes. There's a couple bunny hills there, and yeah, okay. Great place.
I always like me some good air time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a roller coaster except no seatbelt, I guess.
Yep, yeah.
You got any favorite amusement parks while we're on that note?
I mean, we got Six Flags right here.
Yeah.
It's a great place, so.
Great escape. I mean, it's not that great of a Six Flags park retrospectively, but it's always nostalgic for me.
Yep,
for those that know me, I'm a very nostalgic person, and I've been going there since I was itty-bitty, since I was terrified of roller coasters. I'll never forget my first time on the Comet. Do you remember your first time on the Comet?
Yeah, yep, second grade.
I saw a Facebook post commemorating it. I mean, that roller coaster is 100 years old right now, and it is still cranking.
Wow, that's crazy. I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, they have that history board there on the back about how it used to be the Coney Island Cyclone, and then it was moved to Canada or something.
Wow.
I mean, we're getting quite in the detour right here, but that reminds me of another thing. I remember watching another one of our previous interviews, and even another one that you did when you were Athlete of the Week on our local news channel, how you say you just love the feeling of being lost almost in the woods when you're running. Would you like to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, again, you're kind of opposite to steeple, almost like we said. You're kind of mentally checked out, like you can kind of look around you, know where you are, and I also like that there's not people there, so it's kind of just you and the other competitors. So yeah, that's what I was trying to say with News Channel 13 or whatever.
Right, yeah, I got you. And usually if you have dedicated fans, they're probably going to be the only other people that are going to venture that deep into the woods, because at the furthest point of your cross-country course, that's where the one big hill is, right?
Yes, yeah, there's two back there. They're pretty big, so.
Yeah, that's where the most dedicated fans go. I've yet to actually, I think I might have made a golf cart trip there when we were walking the course the day before or something like that. I remember I got to see the day before stage too. It was like you were both in volunteer mode helping set up and trying to mentally prep for the state championship. I mean, that's got to be a lot on your shoulders, but you just took it all in stride.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome having it here. It's definitely different because there's no hotel and no hanging out with all the Section 2 kids, but yeah, it was nice to sleep in my own bed, I think.
I'm shocked because we were talking about the Carter Flowers episode before this. He and his teammates, they're from Section 2, but they went for the whole hotel water slide experience.
That's crazy. Fun.
I will say, for any of those looking to do the ultimate hotel cross-country Queensbury experience, if you qualify for New York States within the next couple years, go to the Great Escape Lodge if you want to ride the best water slides in town. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're definitely pretty good. They're definitely good.
Definitely. So, we've talked a lot about that big state title of yours. Let's talk about nationals now. We mentioned you're excited going into that, but it's a 2K steeplechase, so something a little bit different, something you're probably not even going to get to do much in college. So, what are you doing to prep?
My approach is pretty much kind of just treating it like a mile. Gonna try to stick with everybody. I mean, I don't have as much speed as like endurance, but just kind of gonna try to stick with people and see where it takes me.
Do you think that having that thought of your coaches in the back of your mind telling you to push harder at the beginning will help you set that hotter pace so you don't have to worry about leaving it up to that closing speed?
Yeah, I think definitely. I'll have Coach Flint there too to tell me during the race, so.
Yeah, definitely make sure you guys watch out on the free live stream of New Balance Nationals. That's always fun to always check in on. And it's going to be a nighttime steeplechase too. You went last year, right?
Yes, I did.
What was that experience like under the lights at Franklin Field with only the most dedicated track fans? Like we compare with the cross-country fans that are deep in the woods, the most dedicated track fans in the wee hours of night. What was that like?
It was just a cool experience. I mean, getting to see people, like crazy people run, like Quincy Wilson and those kids run, and yeah, definitely just taking it all in and enjoying the moment. But this year, hopefully I can try to attack it more and focus on my race.
You set a 6:17 last year, and crazy enough, when you ran 9:21 to win your state title, you averaged a quicker pace through 2Ks. So I think that goes to show you about a lot of the potential that's there. It's all about just getting in that race and getting it done, I guess.
Exactly.
How have you worked on that execution? Because obviously, as we've talked about, you've been setting your personal records. 5K, you broke your mile, your 800 this year. How do you work on putting it together once you get to the big stage?
I mean, I kind of just think doing the same thing I've been doing all year. It's no different. It's the same race. So, yeah, that's kind of my approach to it. And try not to let the bigger stage kind of get in my head. So
another thing that I'm grateful that you've been willing to share with me in the past is just how grateful and blessed you felt to get all these experiences. Would you like to speak a little bit about that gratitude and that faith and how it's carried you forward to the guy you are today?
Yeah, it's definitely awesome having that faith just right behind me every step of the way. If I have a bad race, I can always rely on Jesus Christ and my faith to reassure me. So,
were there any perhaps trials and tribulations that you were faced with this season on the road to becoming state champion, or even indoors with Nordic?
Yeah,
indoors.
I mean, no, you're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably middle of track, wasn't having some great even my 2 mile this year wasn't great, and just kind of relying on my faith, and it kind of brings me up, and yeah. So coming and just knowing that I always have my faith there, whether I have a good race or a bad race. So
awesome, man. Did that play into your college decision as well? Because that's always a tough thing. We talked about some of the big factors that you picked out, but there had to have been some other schools that were weighing heavy on your conscience.
Yeah, I mean, I liked UMass. UMass was kind of the place where I thought that I would be, and yeah.
I know. I like to phrase it that way because whenever I talk to athletes about their college decisions, I mean, I didn't even run in college, but college decision was always something that I put off. I literally didn't make my decision until May, and you made yours in the middle of fall, so you were able to make that confident decision and shrug off that stress, which is really nice.
Yeah, definitely. I know teammates who have had their pick their colleges way into the season, and just happy to get it done early and not worry about it, not worrying about like coaches looking at my times and stuff like that, and just a sense of relief.
Yeah. So we've covered a lot of ground about your great senior season and how you've come from that sophomore who was falling over the steeples to literally winning your Class State title and now going to compete for a nationals title or school record there. What have been some of the most fun memories that you can think of along the way beyond all the stat lines?
I mean, just having my teammates there with me. We've done so much, whether it's just goofing off, I don't even know. Team dinners, doing a lot of team dinners, we put bottles in a fire and saw them explode.
Is that like an end of the season team bonfire or something?
Yeah, before the race.
Oh.
Yeah, night before, so.
Okay. Yeah. When was that this year?
We did cross country, we did it a couple times. Nordic, we did it a couple times. Movie nights, we do movie nights in Nordic. So yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
What movie would you recommend for a movie night?
Napoleon Dynamite. That's our favorite.
I have yet to see that, so I'm gonna have to.
You gotta watch it.
I'm gonna have to log that down there. Yeah. Your brother's also on the team now too. He's a freshman, right?
Freshman, yeah.
Yeah, going into his sophomore year.
Yeah, he's awesome. Still, I've got to try to get him off of soccer though, because he does soccer in the fall too. But yeah, maybe this year I can convince him to do cross country.
Yeah, you got to tap him into his lineage. Enough of that 800 mid-distance guy. You need to tap into the Davidson roots.
Exactly.
Don't you guys call him Bubs or something?
Bubba, yeah.
Bubba,
yep.
Is that like after Bubba Gump or something?
I don't know. I actually have no idea how we found the name, but our whole team calls him that, and
so it wasn't
fits
you.
him well.
It wasn't you that came up with that.
I think it was me. It was like my dad or something called him Bubba, and then he kind of just stuck. So yeah. Fits him.
Funny. That's so funny. I first found out about that when I did the senior interview after Queensbury Invitational, and I remember I think it was Nick he referred to. He was like, "Oh, we got Bubs coming up." It was so funny. So yeah, Kieran actually recently followed the In Full Stride podcast Instagram account. Huge shout out to you, Kieran. Thanks for the follow. If you'd like to follow, go ahead over to Instagram and follow us on In Full Stride podcast. I've got a special 400 challenge coming. If you missed my latest post, I'll be running a 400 in a silly follower requested outfit. We finally got some nice traction, so I'll probably be able to rip that within the next few days. We've had quite a good time here, Liam. I will say so myself. It's nice and hot. We're getting ready for summer. You got any other summer plans that you'd like to share?
No, not really. Going to Maine. My grandparents live in Maine, so hopefully visiting them
All right.
summer.
Going to explore some of the nice beaches there. My friend went there last year. He sent some really nice pictures.
Yeah. Maine is awesome. Mm-hmm. Maine is awesome.
That'll be a fun place to explore some maybe new running trails too.
Yep. Running there, there's a bunch of trails. It's in the woods, so yeah, it's nice.
Last thing, what is the most random thing that's ever happened to you at a track meet or a cross country meet?
Let me think. That's a good one. Probably, I don't know.
We already talked about the steeple fall, so that one's I'm afraid out of the cards.
That was a pretty tough one. Losing my shoe sophomore year. I lost my shoe during sectionals and qualified for state. So
that happened to me too. My first race of senior year, my first 300 of senior year, my right shoe, I've double knotted my shoes ever since that race, but my right shoe came undone mid-race. And I still PR'd at the time. I mean, my PR was pretty slow heading into that. I ran like a 42.5 at UAlbany, which is a spikeless track. But I remember my shoe was just completely untied when I crossed the finish line, and I somehow still PR'd, and it was like, wow, what do you know?
Yeah, yep. I just remember that race. It was just like they put gravel out there, so I just remember my socks. I just had one sock, and it was just uneven running running through the woods. So
I remember there was a PE mile in like 4th or 5th grade where my entire shoe just came square off.
Yeah, flat tire.
I was going to PR in that race, but my coach made me put it back on. I was like, why? But it's fine. I've definitely beaten that PR since. It was going to be like a 7-minute something, but whatever there. Anyways, Liam, best of luck at Nationals. Anything else you'd like to share before we send you away?
No, just blessed to be in this moment.
Yeah, man. Blessed to have you on the show, man. Good luck in Philly.
Thank you.
And at UMass. Take care.
Thank you.